So what Julian does every 2-3 days at the moment is he's moving the animals onto new pasture. Our sheep and our cows are fully pastured. You might be able to see here that the sheep and the cows are separate now, and ever since we got them in September, so we've had the sheep and the cows for 18 months now. Gosh, that's a long time. And ever since we had them, they were kept together. We were keeping them as a flerd, so a flock and a herd. Flock of sheep, herd of cows. Obviously 2 cows isn't quite herd, but we know what I mean. And it was all going really well. They were all living as a happy family until Mint, the ram, decided that he was going to start bullying Stella. Now, Stella doesn't have any horns. Amber has horns. So he didn't pick on Amber, and I don't think he would dare, to be fair. Amber is a bit of a matriarch. But Mint Sauce here, which is a lovely ram, and we've had him ever since he was 6 months old. Really nice temperament, but just started picking on Stella. And what he did is he bashed her in the side, and her leg. We had to have the vet out. It caused her to get mastitis from stress, so we had to treat that and have no milk for 7 days. Hey Stella. And yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience. So, but at that point we weren't quite sure whether it was the ram or not, or whether she'd just hurt herself, or even whether it was Amber, to be fair, with her horns. So we kept the sheep and the cows together and kept a really close eye on them, and then we saw him bullying her for the first time, literally running after her all the time. And we don't know whether it's because she does regularly come into heat, obviously every 3 weeks cows do. We don't know whether it was a hormonal thing, but yeah, he was really picking on her. So we decided to separate them, which means more work for Julian. But this is also a traditional way to keep cows and sheep, in that the cows go first on the pasture and then the sheep follow, because the cows actually graze higher than the sheep. So the cows have just about done their bit, and they will be moved now onto this section here, which is a bit of brambles coming through, so we need to address that with the tractor and lawnmower. If we had goats, they would take care of them, but we haven't got goats, and the sheep won't touch the brambles either. So the cows will be moved into this section here, so Julian will set up the next fences, and then the sheep will go where the cows were. Now that's all well and good at the moment because there's no flies. So you can see the cow pats at the moment. So in the next couple of months, the plan is, what we're going to do is we're going to actually have chickens in with the sheep. They will have their own poultry netting fence, so they'll be separate, and they will get, say if the section is for 3 days, the chickens will be moved. That's onto a section 1 day, and then poultry netting will be moved. Why are we going to do that? Because what happens is, when a cow has a poo, about 3 days later, the fly larvae will come that same day, and about 3 days later the maggots will hatch, the fly larvae, and that is what chickens love to eat. So they will come along, they will scratch the cow patties, and basically they will literally eat all the larvae. They will scratch the cow manure all over the field, which means it's going to be used one of the latest lambs, which means it will be used more effectively on the pasture, spread more effectively on the pasture, and it will keep the fly pressure down. So the sheep, who are not as susceptible as cows to the flies, but we did lose, our neighbours did lose a couple of sheep last year to a new disease that's going around, which is spread by flies. So we've got to be careful and mindful of that. But having the chickens on the pasture means that the chickens will get quite a bit, probably 40 or 50% of their nutrients and food from the pasture. So it'll be egg-laying hens, which will really be getting 50% of their diet from the pasture or more. Chickens are omnivores, so they love maggots, flies, things like that. Because they're around the sheep, hopefully, and they will have protection as well, they'll be able to go into a little shelter, and there'll be an electric fence, they'll be double electric fenced. We have foxes here, we have birds of prey, so we're not sure how it's going to go, but the birds of prey don't like to come down when there's big animals. The chickens will be able to run into their shelter, so we'll just see how it goes, but I'm hoping it can't be any worse than the fox attacks that we've had already since we've been here in 5 years, which have been numerous on an 8-foot fence buried in the ground. So they find a way, so I'm sure it's not going to all be perfect, but we'll see how it goes. So that's what's going on here at the moment. You can see Julian setting up the fence over there, and then in the spring, when the ground isn't as soft, our neighbour friends will come and basically sort out the edges of the pasture that have grown up over the winter and autumn, and just start making things a bit neater again for the spring and summer. So that's where we are at the moment with the cows and the sheep, and we are trying to get Stella pregnant again. That's a huge big saga that has been going on, and I'll probably explain a bit more about that in the next video, but hopefully she will be getting pregnant in the next 6 weeks.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm on a small channel like ourselves. If you'd like to catch up with us on an almost daily basis, you can check out our social media accounts, the Chateau Farm on Facebook and also Instagram. We'll see you next time.